Belmont in the Missouri Valley, Lipscomb now in the A-Sun. So it's maybe not top priority for these two programs as it once was, with conference play being at the top of the ladder, but still a very important one, and each program wants to get a win.
Yeah, no postseason implications necessarily for this game, but in terms of momentum, in terms for bragging rights, and in terms of really a good sense of kind of play heading into postseason, this one's special. Two really good sides. Both teams want to win, and to go along with it, they got a heck of a trophy to go along with this rivalry as well.
Yeah, they sure do. Lipscomb are the alternates tonight. Pink tops, black shorts, Belmont in all white. Up the left wing, and Belmont with an early opportunity here. About 45 seconds into this match. Lipscomb with numbers defensively, however. And that's cleared out. Belmont will throw it in. Bruins 6-3-2 entering tonight's match. 2-2 in the Missouri Valley Conference. They're in 5th place in the standings in that conference. Lipscomb atop the A-Sun. Undefeated in conference play. The Bisons overall 5-2-3. But again, no postseason implications for this match. You know, maybe in terms of RPI.
Right. Sure.
These two teams are pretty close. Throw it into the box, and it gets knocked out back along the far side.
And really, RJ, the way these two teams play, both concede a lot of shots. Lipscomb conceding over 2 goals a game. They're also leading the nation right now, 2.90 goals per game for them. And for Belmont's case, haven't kept many clean sheets. So you just look at the statistics, the styles of play. We're in for probably quite a few goals tonight.
Chipped into the top of the box. Here's a chance. Shot was blocked. Coming from the right foot of Michael Saunders. That'll set up the goal kick. Juan Carlos Rodriguez, the Lipscomb keeper. 23 goals allowed in 10 starts. Allowed a goal, 2 saves against North Florida. That match was back on Saturday. Lipscomb won that one 2-1. And that's chipped out of play, and will be another goal kick for Rodriguez. He's a freshman, 5'11", from Almeria, Spain, a true freshman.
He's had his kind of lumps this season, given up a few goals. Not a lot of them have really been his fault necessarily, but really what Coach Morrow loves is the ball at his feet. You'll see it right here. His team is very comfortable giving him the ball back, and pressure almost gives you an extra player on the pitch when your goalkeeper can do that.
That'll roll out of play along the far side. We haven't really seen Lipscomb in the attacking zone yet here in the first 3+ minutes of this match. Rodriguez already a little bit of, I don't want to say pressure, that's probably a little strong, but he's had to be kept on his toes a little bit. And a foul going the other way.
And to your point, Lipscomb, they do like possession against teams that they feel comfortable having a lot of the ball, but a game like tonight, look for the counterattack to be pretty big for them. They're okay sitting back and let their strong defenders, Nick Dane, go up and win headers and get out on the break. And when you have guys like Tyrese Spicer and Malachi Jones, when you look at nation-leading statistics, you feel pretty good about them in one-on-ones in battles.
And a bouncing ball in toward Calvert. That'll set up a Lipscomb corner. First corner of the night for either team. And this will be taken by Malachi Jones. Just mentioned his name, Frank Calvert in net for the Belmont Bruins. Calvert, a junior, 6'2", from Stillwell, Kansas. Toward the top of the box, Alanefti set up, cleared out. Cooper Kieran chips it ahead. Played by Jansen Wilson. Malachi Jones gets the feed from Alanefti along the sideline, and then that's chipped up into the air by Dylan Steely. Jones keeps it inbounds. And then Alex Johnson will set up a Lipscomb throw in here.
Yeah, these fullbacks for Belmont are going to have to be really really conservative on how they play tonight. They can't be caught going forward too much this evening. When they do, they have to make sure one of their midfielders in the back cover those spaces for guys like Malachi Jones and Tyrese Spicer, because if they don't, these two wingers for the Bisons will make you pay.
Here's Jones, Stinnett, fires it wide. Got a lot behind that one, just a little bit too far wide right, with 39:40 and ticking on the clock here in the first half. A standing room only crowd here at the Lipscomb Soccer Complex tonight, and they are raucous.
Well, and Charles Morrow told you, RJ, that a lot of young fans, a lot of the club teams will take the night off. I've seen a lot of Tennessee Soccer Club and Nashville SC Academy players here tonight. It really is cool when you've got a kid like me growing up in the Middle Tennessee area. I've been to a lot of these games growing up. It gives you hope because these are two top programs, even though they're not Power 5 necessarily. You got guys on this pitch, RJ, that can play at the next level, not only kind of in semi-pro level. I would not be surprised to see a guy like Tyrese Spicer or Malachi Jones play on Apple TV and for Major League Soccer here in a couple years' time.
I was talking with Coach David Costa this morning. He was telling me the same thing. There are multiple guys for each team that really have a chance to play for the next level. Michael Saunders, he really likes. Another one, Jansen Wilson for the Bruins squad. And then, of course, the great trio, Javon Smith-Spicer and Malachi Jones from a Bison's perspective. On the far side, that's Spicer. Near the edge of the box, Belmont takes it away.
Like what Belmont's doing here, not forcing anything up the pitch. If there is an avenue to go on the counter, they will exploit it. But one thing you don't want is the ball coming back the other way when all your attacking midfielders sprint up the pitch. Got to play conservative against this Lipscomb group. And for a team that doesn't keep many clean sheets, I like their approach tonight.
37:40 on the clock here in the first half. Saunders had it taken away from him. Now Lenefti chips it ahead. Malachi Jones, top of the box, off the post. Rebound, stopped by Calvert.
Terrific bit of play there from Lipscomb. Malachi Jones with the right-footed shot. We see a lot of shots from him with his left. I think he caught the defender off guard going with his right there. And like you said, terrific save from the goalkeeper, Calvert. Had to get low, and I thought that ball was destined for the net. Bounced just over the bar.
That was Javon Smith on the rebound. Tough to see the jersey number with these alternate uniforms.
We support the cause, just a little tough on the numbers up here.
Alanefti on the corner, and a whistle will go the other way and an offside.
First danger signs, though, RJ, for this Lipscomb team. They concede a lot, but when you've got the goal threat like they do at any given moment from either wing or down the middle, as we saw Javon Smith get in on the action in their last game against Bradley, it is tough going. But Belmont, they escaped, got their first warning shot.
36:20 on the clock here in the first half. Tyler Stinnett collects it, and here's Spicer. Race forward, edge of the box. Spicer puts a move on Sellers. Back out to the top of the box after a couple of rebounds. Spicer back at it near the corner. And that'll set up a Belmont goal kick, 35-45 on the clock.
Such a fun player to watch, Tyrese Spicer. He can take you down the middle, but one thing he has, those long strides of his, it can really get past defenders. He's got the footwork as well. Great bit of play from right now the leading goal scorer in college soccer.
It's such a dangerous aspect about this Lipscomb team that both coaches, when we talked with them, mentioned this. The Bisons in transition are a huge threat, and that's something that Coach Costa, from a Belmont perspective, as there's a foul called on Lipscomb, from a Belmont perspective, really wants Lipscomb to be in transition as little as possible.
And it's hard because you want to have possession. You want to put your footprint on this game, but when you lose the ball, and ultimately you are going to lose it, you're not going to be able to keep it for all 45 minutes and a half. Got to make sure you have that structure. And Belmont, I think they've had that so far, but right now, Tyree Spicer and guys like Malachi Jones, their ability has kind of outstretched the structure so far. So they've just got to make some adjustments and do the best you can against this front.
Riley Clothier on the free kick. Chips it up, top of the 18. Headed toward the near side. Collected by Alex Clayton. He gives it off to Wilson. Wilson near the corner. Bouncing ball. And that'll set up a goal kick. A.J. Chastanet unable to corral it in.
This has been a spot for Lipscomb that they have struggled. Not really that first ball. It's been the second ball, getting it out of the box. Ultimately, you have that first header usually with a guy like Nick Dang, who's pretty good in the air, but got to make sure to win that second and third ball in this position early in the match.
I beg your pardon, this will be a Belmont corner. As it's sent a little bit too strong, it looks like. Belmont keeps it alive. And a foul called on the Bisons.
Dangerous, very dangerous bit of play there, a high foot. Not sure where it caught the Belmont player. Looked like there was Steely on the outside.
Yeah, Dylan Steely is the player who's down.
Very close inside the box, though, and that's something Lipscomb has got to be more careful with here. Very good spot for Belmont right here.
Helped up by the referee, Leland Grant. So another Belmont free kick here. 33 minutes and counting on the clock.
Got to watch out for Wilson here, Jansen Wilson for Belmont. Number 10, just right at the top of the box. If it's where they want to go, he's going to have a lot of time and space to get a shot on goal here.
Slides it over to Wilson and airmails it. Onto the pickleball courts over behind the net, way off the field.
That's kind of what I was looking at. The execution, not exactly what you were wanting.
Good strategy, right. Just the execution not 100% there. Two minutes on the clock here in the opening half. Lipscomb will throw it in here. Well, speaking of Jansen Wilson, today he was named the Missouri Valley Conference Offensive Player of the Week. He scored twice in their 3-1 win at Bradley this past Friday. Lipscomb's first win at Bradley at what they call Shea Stadium, not the former Mets Stadium in Queens. Stadium. It is spelled the same, though.
Yes. And Wilson, RJ, is a guy they have really liked transferring from Kentucky, a very good program over in Lexington, and they've loved having him here in the Middle Tennessee area.
Johnson will throw it in here with 31:06 on the clock. I mean, Pat, I think you and I can just really feel this energy from the crowd to how the play has gone so far on the field, really spirited.
Right, the student section, they've always been there. It's more kind of the middle sections here as we get a very rash challenge here in the middle.
Yellow card just called, and Adam McAleenan not happy, and he's the one that Leland Grant just penalized.
He has shown a tendency not to be afraid to put his nose into tackles. That's his third yellow card this season, I know he's not happy with it. I know he probably didn't get a ton of the man, but very late challenge, very high, and if that would have connected maybe on another day, he could have been looking at another color there.
McAleenan, a senior, 5'11", from Crossgar, Northern Ireland. Was previously at Oakland University in Michigan for 3 years in the Horizon League, as this is headed in front of Rodriguez. A few headers there as it goes outside the box. And this is Malachi Jones with it along the near side, but it rolls out. Belmont will take over. 30-22 on the clock. They'll just organize themselves here.
Yeah, that is exactly what Alex Clayton, who is playing right back, did all the way here on the left side of the field for Belmont, sprinting back, making Malachi Jones dribble the ball out of bounds. They're going to need everybody on right and left side to stop these guys. Nice hustle as he's got his hands on hips running with one of the faster players on the field tonight.
And this is something that Charles Morrow addressed in our meeting with him. He said, we're so fast, we're so forward-moving, and that really showed itself against North Florida. We just need to be more patient in our attack.
And it's hard because for a lot of these guys, they know if they want to, they could probably take a lot of these fullbacks 1v1, but what that does is eliminate some of your teammates here in the middle. You want to make sure they're involved as well. Some of these smaller moments, if they want to make a bigger run at this, they got to get better at.
Javon Smith unable to get to it. Jones gets the loose ball, has room with which to run, slides it over to Spicer. Spicer into the box. Spicer spinning. Not much behind that one.
Clayton again on the right side. He did it to Malachi about 2 or 3 minutes ago, and Spicer tried to put him in the spin cycle that time, going back and front to back a couple different times. Stay put. Corner kick coming now for the Bisons.
Third of the night for Lipscomb. After it was deflected out. Hooking to Calvert, nobody home for Lipscomb. Jones up top. Jones, shot blocked by Singill. Back out near center.
If I'm right now Belmont, I'm not liking the amount of chances that Malachi Jones is getting to put shots on goal. He's not leading the team in goals necessarily. That's because he's been setting up Tyrese Spicer for a lot of the year. But he's getting a lot of chances here. You want to slow that down.
Rodriguez calls off McCready and takes this one and chips this one up into the air. And so Lipscomb slows things down here. 27-53 and ticking on the clock here in the first half.
And for Belmont, you look at some of their players on the pitch, 6'2", 6'5", in terms of Kuiper. They're not going to run past many defenders. It's more going to be the long balls and maybe challenge some of these Lipscomb defenders. So that's something maybe they want to try here as the games go on. Maybe test some of these center backs and fullbacks out a little bit in the air, because in terms of statistics and height, they surely are one of the taller players that we've had here covering Lipscomb games, RJ.
They're big guys, but they're athletic. Pieces, and that's something that Charles Morrow emphasized. He said, look, I'm not going to break down one individual player. We just need to do our thing from a Lipscomb standpoint, and we'll be fine, but containing their transition play and their set pieces, so it really goes both ways with playing in transition for both teams. And, you know, despite how big they are, super athletic, and that's just something that we really need to emphasize here tonight. Slides.
Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus originals. The exclusive
Night thus far.
live sports. Thousands of live events.
Good slide tackle by Daniel Stampatori.
Really nicely done. Yushin Nakagawa, a guy we've seen at right back, not playing tonight. He was involved in their last match against Bradley. Making a move at right back is Charles Morrow, maybe one of those possible resting situations like he was talking about, but nice tackle from the fullback here on the right side.
Wilson takes the corner. Second for Belmont here tonight. High into the air.
Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus originals.
Open too much and given Lipscomb a lot of joy down these wings, and when they have, I've been really impressed with their fullbacks. I think this one's going to be a chess match the rest of the way on who kind of makes that first mistake.
Well, here's a transition opportunity here for Belmont. Well, that's knocked out of bounds. Brock Kuiper for the Bruins up with it along the right side. Good slide tackle.
And I imagine for Belmont, of course, moving from the Valley, we've talked about some of the teams they've had to play, to have a road game where you could probably have walked, quite frankly, right. And not you're traveling up and down the Midwest here in the United States. I'm sure they've loved this road trip more than any so far.
Right, the Missouri Valley, you've got, University of Illinois, Chicago, Bradley also in Peoria, Illinois, Western Michigan now in the Missouri Valley. A lot of travel.
Terrific basketball conference.
Yes.
And we're not going to – they made the move for basketball, and that's going to be an interesting – they in their first season, I thought they held their own last year, the Bruins and Casey Alexander, but I think it's been a really good test for them in terms of it's a very good soccer league. It's something I'm not sure I knew very much of before Belmont made the switch, and it's been good to see them challenge, quite frankly, week in, week out at the moment.
Yeah, David Costa described – this transition as a fun challenge. He cited, one, the geography that we just talked about, the travel across the greater Midwestern United States, and he said there's a lot of veteran soccer teams in the Missouri Valley, and he described every match as a war.
And you kind of get that feeling just where some of those schools are located, very gritty. It's going to get cold here in a couple months, especially in the Chicago, Illinois area. So definitely see where – and it is interesting that you've got maybe some leagues that maybe a little more youthful. At Lipscomb, I think they've got a pretty good mix of kind of young blood, but also some veterans specifically up front. It's a very veteran-led group. But it's an adjustment with any conference, and I think Belmont's found that out. And I don't think they've struggled necessarily either moving to the Valley.
They were in the SoCon prior to the 2022 season. And again, this is year 2 in the Missouri Valley. .21:35 on the clock here in the first half. Definitely been a slugfest here through the first half of the opening half.
I think neither team really wants to give up that first goal. As much as you want to score it, I think it's almost even more imperative not to give that first one up, because when that happens, it leaves yourself very open in the back, and both teams have shown when they have to chase a goal, it tends to go the wrong way for them. So I've enjoyed it. Maybe I thought a little more open, but as soon as this game has kicked off, you've kind of gotten that feel. Both teams want to score, but they also desperately want to keep it tight at the back for both sides on the defensive half.
Which the last couple of matches have been really tight. Last year, a 0-0 draw. 2 years ago was 1-1. Stampatori in some space on the near side. Kind of forced one in there. Lipscomb keeps it alive. Pinballing around. Alanefti receives it ahead for Stampatori. A lot of contact, no foul.
Lovely tackle that time from Dylan Steely, the Hoover, Alabama product. Got a lot of the ball that time in the penalty area and needed to do so.
And that was Stampatori who took a spill. 20 minutes on the clock here in the opening half. Lipscomb resets here.
Steely had himself a nice day against Bradley, got one of the assists in the 3 goals for them in that match, and it's a young man who's had to grow up playing center back in the Missouri Valley. He was on the all-freshman team last year and has taken a really big jump so far this year, playing pretty much every minute so far of the season.
Yeah, he played all 90 minutes against Bradley. In addition, he was on the all-tournament team for the Missouri Valley a season ago. 6'2" from Hoover, Alabama, just outside Birmingham. Stampatori weaves his way in. Edge of the box, chip toward Calvert. He makes the catch. Right at the edge of the 6-yard box.
I like what Alanefti was trying to go for there. Javon Smith and made a really nice run to the back post. Just lofted it up a little too much for Calvert to get back under, but really nice touch and movement at the 18-yard box for the Bisons.
Under 19 minutes remaining here in the first half. Slid over to Stinnett. Sends it ahead. Spicer with that long gate, just couldn't get to it in time. Too far ahead of him.
Stinnett, he skipped his left back over on the outside, and maybe a ball you pass to your fullback who maybe can feed it into Tyree Spicer. That was going to be a tough spot just from where Calvert and how high he has to be, quite frankly, RJ, because if he doesn't, it gives a chasm for some of these fast attackers to be in.
Foul called on the far side. 18 minutes on the clock. So this will set up a Belmont free kick taken by Michael Saunders.
Very little question on if that was a foul or not. It got very late and got very much in the back. Nice high line here from Lipscomb. They got to be very disciplined not to cheat their line a little bit. Helps your goalkeeper out, come out for the cross if available here.
That foul was on McGreedy toward Rodriguez. Deflected back out. Wilson, strong shot, saved! Rodriguez got the right hand on it.
Really nice save from Juan Carlos Rodriguez. Needed the nice positioning. He's too far over to his right-hand side of the goal. He's not getting there, but he shuffled his feet nicely after the movement at the top of the 18 from Jansen Wilson. It's the little things for a goalkeeper, and had to get a strong hand to it, did so.
Each team now with 3 corner kicks. Again, that shot from Jansen Wilson. He and Brock Kuiper each have 4 goals, which is tied for the team lead. And this is headed past Rodriguez! Belmont on the board first.
Looks like Case Cox out of Louisville, Kentucky for Belmont, and he stuns this Lipscomb University crowd. Just a simple corner kick, got himself up inside the 18-yard box, and he says he can't hear the student section. Really poor defending inside the box for Lipscomb.
We can hear the Belmont contingent to our right. the Lipscomb student section to our left. Again, it is Case Cox with the goal. Tough to tell from our vantage point immediately who did score it. That's his second of the season.
And it
Cox
did
in year 2 with Belmont. Played the prior 3 seasons with Kentucky.
And he has only had 2 shots all year long. That's his 3rd shot. Now gets his 2nd goal. Very efficient play. It went off somebody inside the box. Didn't get a good look on who that happened to be, but definitely played a part in that one heading in past Juan Carlos. Very tough for a goalkeeper. You make a heck of a save, and defense can't get you bailed out there inside the corner kick.
First substitution of the night. 1 for each team. Eric Stiles in for Brock Kuiper. Luca Nauman in for Taylor Stennett.
Talked about not wanting to give up that first goal for either side. How aggressive is Lipscomb now? Of course, you're not playing for really anything in terms of conference seeding or everything. How strongly do you take this? Do you take a little more of an effort to get back into this quickly?
15:35 on the clock here as we have a Lipscomb corner. So that's the Bison 4th of the night. Nauman sent it in, headed over the crossbar. Headed by Nick Dang.
Yep.
And not sure if Calvert got a fingertip on it or was just clean over the crossbar as a Belmont player is down on the turf right now.
Looks like it's staying here, so it looks like there is going to be another corner kick. But it's always Nick Dang inside the 18-yard box. A very dangerous player flicked it on, and I think you're right. I think Calvert got a fingertip or two to that very important save. I think they need to do that. They've gone a couple corners now for Lipscomb, have gone short a couple of times. That's your strength, quite frankly, RJ, is some of your defenders and attackers inside the box getting their head to the ball.
I haven't been able to identify who that Belmont player is on the turf. The athletic training staff out there along with David Costa there in the middle of the box. Right now lying on his back after the collision with Nick Dang. 15:12 on the clock. We will take a timeout for this injury. You're watching ASUN Soccer here on ESPN Plus. Back in a moment. Pretty scary here. Case Cox lying on his back in the box for quite a while during that timeout, and he is now walking toward midfield, and we are really glad to see that. Again, scary here, and thank goodness he is up and walking around. I believe those are his parents down there.
Those are scary, RJ, especially in corner kicks. You're not thinking about injuring yourself at all. You're putting your head in harm's way just to clear the ball, type of player that he is. But fantastic to see him with what looks like, you said, his mom walking off, and probably his day is done, but that is secondary. Just good to see him walk off.
Yeah, 100%. He gets a warm ovation from the Lipscomb faithful here. Certainly pass along our prayers to Case Cox as he walks off the pitch. Esteban Leyva enters the game in his place. 15-12 on the clock here in the first half. Have another Lipscomb corner here. Dowman will take it. Line drive headed toward the top of the box, and it's cleared. Out by A.J. Chastaday.
And I'm sure it's not something you probably thought you'd think about, but whenever you see one of your teammates go out with a head injury and you've got another corner kick coming, you almost have to block that from your head. Belmont did a nice job there clearing that one out. It's scary seeing a guy you train with for probably 10 months out of the year walk off a little shaky like that, but really impressive. And we'll see how Belmont can really move forward, because you never want to see really one of your brothers walk off like that.
14.5 on the clock here in this opening period. 1-0 Belmont, for those of you just tuning in. It was Case Cox who scored the only goal of the match to this point on a header immediately off a Belmont corner. That was in the 28th minute.
You're seeing what Lipscomb's doing down, not doing a whole lot in terms of run down the field, just trying to have a little possession. As I say that, they turn the ball over, but I think maybe a slight adjustment. Charles Morrow got his fingerprints on his team in that break, saying we need more of the possession.
Javon Smith unable to handle that one, and Belmont grabs possession. I think, is that something, too, that Morrow was trying to drill into them over the last few days since the North Florida game? Be patient when we have the ball. Don't just fly up the pitch and try for an immediate goal. Let's move the ball and try and make something happen. Don't force anything.
I also think some of that credit goes to Belmont. They haven't really fell into the traps that we've seen in this 4-0 start in ASUN play that a lot of these teams have, where they've gotten a little too happy bringing the fullbacks up. We haven't seen a whole lot of that. It's been really nice composure and patience from Belmont as well to force Lipscomb maybe into something they wouldn't do normally.
.50 on the clock until the half. After the Belmont foul. Chipped high into the air for Spicer. Spicer pinned toward that corner. Up toward Calvert, headed by Smith, wide. That foul, by the way, just to clean that up real quick, was on Ruben Singill.
Like that,
each team with 4 fouls.
Yeah, like that ball to the back post. Javon probably, instead of going near post, would have probably liked to send that one to the back post. Calvert was in good position to his front post. Would have took a heck of an effort to beat him there at his front post. But trying to get your striker involved. Haven't said his name too much tonight, Javon Smith. See if you can get him some chances in front of net.
Had it a couple of times along the sideline. Jones throws it in. We're a set to here momentarily. He'll hand it off to Stampatori. Whistle, and now here we go. Wasn't sure what that was all about. Jones.
Like that tactic from Belmont. They're not letting Malachi go single up on any of their fullbacks. Another midfielder is coming his way to help out. They've stifled the attacker.
Singill took a spill, but a clean play by Nauman right there. Close in on 11 minutes. Spicer out on the far side. Lost control of it a little bit, went out of bounds.
I think the game plan has really gone to absolute perfection here. You're not getting, I said it for Malachi, but same point goes for Tyrese Spicer. The 1v1 transition plays. I think what Lipscomb's Coach Costa was, or Belmont's Coach Costa was wanting to do, come in, telling you limit transitions as much as possible. We've seen very little of that. They had a couple in the first 5-10 minutes of the match, but for the past 25-30 minutes of this first half, I think they've done exactly what they wanted, and they got the all-important goal for the Bruins. I think this is a masterclass so far from them.
Well, he used this terminology this morning. He said we need to limit Lipscomb's time and space with the ball. We need to be constantly defending, and I think, to your point, they've really done an excellent job at that here tonight. In and out of the box on the near side. Esteban Leyva sent it back up top, and now Singill gets it back on the tap from Johnson. Stayed inbounds. Johnson plays it near the corner, centered, just too far from Esteban Leyva. Really reach at it with his left foot, but just was able to put much behind it.
Really like the
call it
cutback.
Belmont after a delay on the throw-in.
Yeah, really like the cutback that time from Belmont. Had a couple of their center backs, Nick Dang, on his heels with anticipating a front post run. Nearly had a second, not for the all-important toe inside the box for Lipscomb.
Dang clears it out.
All right, Devlin!
8:40 on the clock. Leland Grant, referee yelling at Stampatori, stop moving with the ball.
Man, he was aggressive there.
Yeah, he was.
Thank you.
Foul on Belmont. That'll be on Singill.
Get the idea Nauman was trying to go there, won the execution, but also for Lipscomb, I mean, I get you want to be on transition, but I think that's also what Coach Morrow was saying there. Everything doesn't have to be 1,000 miles an hour. Get the ball back, try and play yourself back into this game, because I think Belmont's not going to have too many opportunities where they're going to be flying up the pitch. I think the blueprint has been set on how they're playing here today.
Nauman punched it ahead. Side now Stampatori. Alanefti back to the net. Stampatori gets it back. Top of the box. Chipped. Alanefti. Near side Spicer. Works his way in. Nobody home there for Lipscomb. And Lipscomb will have a corner.
Really dangerous cross, a little too high for Calvert to come out and claim, and defender on the back post, he had no other choice but to knock that one out. He knew he had Malachi Jones, who has switched sides now with Tyrese Spicer. Tyrese is now on the right, Malachi on the left. Bit of an adjustment in game from Coach Morrow.
Sixth corner for Lipscomb, high into the air and headed out by Dylan Steely. Jones hits the deck, foul called on Belmont's Chastity.
Saw that coming the whole way. You saw Malachi kind of peek to the back to see Chastity coming his way, and as soon as he felt any pressure, he was going to tumble over for the foul. Not a lot of threat from set pieces tonight so far for Lipscomb. Need a good ball here from one of your stars.
And Chastity, really bothered by that call, was giving Leland Grant an earful. Smith, hard line drive, back out, Alanefti. Set piece nobody was home for, and Jones just couldn't get to it near the far corner.
Don't think Tyrese was necessarily really going for a shot there. I think he was looking for one of his players to flash in front of goal, get an all-important touch, and really disappointing shot from Alanefti. Had a lot of time and space inside the box, and anytime you have a shot and it goes out for a throw-in, you know you want to do better the next time.
Lipscomb regains possession here. On the far side, Alanefti watches it deflect out to set up the 7th Lipscomb corner here tonight. Belmont's defended the corners well, though.
They really have.
And that gets headed out. Lipscomb keeps it alive. Chipped up. Smith, McGreedy, and losing control of it there on the far side. Looks like Nick Dang down there. Yeah.
Sure was. He went for the spectacular.
Yep.
And to your point, Belmont's done a good job. I think the service as well from some of these corners haven't been the greatest for Lipscomb either, but credit goes to both sides so far.
.420 and counting on the clock here. A 1-0 Belmont lead here on a crisp Tuesday night in the Music City. I'm sure you can hear the crowd in the background.
Hi, Sam.
It's been energetic all night.
Nice quick feed on the outside for Jones. He's switched to the left wing now. Moore gotten a lot with his right foot done. Looked for him to cut in a little bit more. Same for Spicer, who has the ball now.
And this will roll out near side on the throw-in. This is actually a Belmont throw-in here. 26th edition of this rivalry. If you missed it, we mentioned it in the open. Lipscomb leads the all-time series 11-10-4. The last 2 matches have been draws. And in last year's edition at Rose Park was a 0-0 draw. Lipscomb at the time, the 17th ranked team in the nation. These two teams really close in RPI. Lipscomb at 70th, Belmont at 79th. Ooh.
Watch out here.
Yep. And a yellow. Called on Singill as Nauman took a spill.
Had no chance there to get the ball was Sing Hill. I think the referee had no choice to give him but a card that time. Studs up tackle into Nauman, and he's lucky his foot wasn't planted, or that could have been a lot worse than what it was. No brainer there from the referee, I don't think.
Lipscomb free kick here near center. Under 3 minutes remaining here in the opening half. McAleenan advances. Bouncing ball. Corralled in by Johnson, and he advances across center. Dang wins the race with Leyva to the ball.
Yeah, that is really good defending from Dang. He anticipated the pass down the sideline, got in front of the defender, did so early enough so it couldn't be called a foul.
Good idea there, just not executed well on the chip down towards Stampatore. Just couldn't get to it, too far over his head. 2:10 and ticking on the clock. Have a Belmont throw in here, deep in its own zone.
If you're a Belmont, you're not wanting any fireworks here towards the end. Going up 1-0 is probably exactly what they would have hoped. They've done a nice job so far. Lipscomb's starting to oppose themselves a little bit more now since the tactical switch involving their two wingers.
Chipped ahead, Alanefti. Nobody home. It looked like for a second there Alanefti couldn't corral it, but he tried to center it for Javon Smith, just couldn't get to it as Spicer fired that one wide left. And Lipscomb's a team, and again, this is rivalry. Sometimes you just got to throw everything out the window, but Lipscomb is a team that gets off to great starts. 13 of their 35 goals scored this season have come in the first 30 minutes of a match. But again, different style of play tonight. Belmont has been really pesky defensively.
Yeah, they really have. And when you get a goal early, it influences a lot in the really final 60 minutes, final hour of the game. It forces the other team to open up a little bit, and one usually turns into 2 or 3 in terms of Lipscomb's case, especially when you look at their goals per game so far this season, which is right at the top in the country.
30 seconds on the clock here in the half. Stampatore near the corner, out toward Nauman. Nauman, cross pitch, Malachi Jones. Defended down there by Clayton. 10 seconds on the clock, whistle, and it'll go